welcome to this week's episode of LevelUp Cyber. My name is Tony Bryan and your host and Executive Director of CyberUp. Really looking forward to today's discussion. I think it's one that's going to be near and dear to a lot of individuals' hearts. I know that in the world of cyber, there's a lot of interest of best practices and ways to break into that first cybersecurity career. Lucky to meet today's guest who just navigated that in his recent graduation. So looking to dive into some of his experiences, a little bit of his lessons learned, and I hope we all can take away some great advice with that. So without further ado, Gitesh Tripathi, I'd love to welcome you to the show.
Thank you, and I'm really honored to be here as well.
Awesome. Well, so for the good of everybody, let's take a second, have you introduce yourself and tell everybody a little bit about how you got to where you're at today.
Yeah, sure. Hi guys, I'm Gitesh Tripathi as mentioned, and I am a recent graduate from Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam Technical University, India. So I was from my college is really enthusiastic about cybersecurity, the computer networks, how they work, how the laptops or the desktop work. So it was a really intriguing part for me. Then there came a period of COVID. I got into books. I started with a book called Top Down Approach. It's a computer networking book by Kuros and Rose, and it was a really, initial starting point for my cybersecurity journey. Then the days passed by. I went to intern with Indian Army. I worked there on network security architecture, critical security, DFIR, post-grid methodology. And it was a really first initial experience where I gained a fundamental knowledge about cybersecurity, how it works in a corporate settings as well as in national security. So it was a really great opening challenge and as well as opportunity for my learning. I Then I went to, then my supervisor there, he referred me to work with Indian Army, where I worked, Indian Police Department, where I worked on cybercrime analysis. So my day-to-day job was to analyze the cybercrime that is happening in India, monitor it, report it, and suggest measures and precautions to the people. And that was my daily day-to-day routine at Indian Police Department. So I'm really passionate about cybersecurity and the thing that what everyone thinks why cybersecurity. It's thing that it gives me a chance, a sense of purpose that I am protecting something. That whether it's an organization or individual or company, it is an opportunity for me where I get a sense that I am protecting someone. So that's the really great feel that I take at the end of my day. So after my graduation, I was selected through LinkedIn uh, with a company in Dubai called Leaders Tech. So I am working there. It's been a 6 month, and I can tell very honestly that this 6 months has been really great. Now I will be handing it over to Tony again.
That's awesome. So what were some of the things you did, right? So you finished your degree program. Was the school you went to a resource to help with internships? But how did you really start that job search for yourself to land that first job? What were some of the things you did?
Sure, sure. So the first thing, see, my college was basically I graduated from computer science background, so there was no sense of cybersecurity because even nowadays cybersecurity is very limited to certain colleges in India. So what I have done, I started reading books because reading books is the fundamental, and I can say that while reading books you have very inquisitive thoughts like how this is going, how can we do it. Now you have chance to practice them. Okay, so that was my initial step. I started reading book, and I mentioned that book name was Top Down Approach by Kuros and Rose. It was a computer networking book which paved a fundamental background for myself into the cybersecurity industry. Then, after gaining initial knowledge, working through some CTFs, I participated in many CTFs because CTFs are, like a what I say, like a pavement for you, where you can learn multiple things in a quite short span of time in cybersecurity. You have certain CTF related to DFIR or Windows Net or web analysis or web penetration. So it's a really good way to learn cybersecurity in fast-paced and competitive manner. Now then I went to pursue internships, and for that there are multiple hackathons in India. Like Indian RBT organized their annual hackathon called Saturday Kshetra. There are multiple similar hackathons all over world. Many cybersecurity programs are specifically for USA. So there are many programs, many opportunity there. And apart from this, I continuously practice on myself. Like I have my desktop, so I really try to open it always to see what's inside it, just for fun sake, not every time thinking about what I will be learning, just for fun. Let's see what is in there. So that's the one thing that really helps you when you are going into cybersecurity. And as far as certifications are concerned, see, in initial stage, I believe that if you have a solid foundation understanding, you can gain that from YouTube's books, practice, online platform like Try Hack Me, Hack Explaining, Workcrowd, HackerWorld, or Hack the Box. These are the great way you can learn. Initially gaining experience, this even if you do this amount of job, you can get a decent job into. And then certifications comes when you get a job, initial job, and you can pave your way further there and buy the certificates.
So what I picked up on that is that a lot of the stuff that you did was self-driven, right? You kind of dove in, sound like you made a plan for yourself of what you wanted to accomplish, and then found the resources online to make that happen. Is that fair? Pretty good, like an overall kind of
Yeah.
summary of what. Did you get any support from the school and the college that to drive some of this stuff, or was it a lot of it was really independently kind of driven by yourself?
No, see, basically all this opportunity are, in public domain, like hackathons, that's are in public domain. If you are open, if you are doing CTFs, there are many people. CTFs are majorly team-based. You get to interact with people. Some are research, some are working in corporates as well. They tell you about this opportunity. You can go there. And this hackathons that I am mentioning, it's in public free domain. See, my college basically supports with the fundamentals into cybersecurity. Like there were some fundamental course, but most of things that you have to do is on your own by reading books. And I am emphasizing on this again that reading books is the key, because once you read the books, you get that feel of reading books. And I say feel of reading books, you really try to focus your head onto that particular topic, and that was really a game changer for me as far as I am concerned.
A great segue from my next question of, there are lots of domains in cybersecurity as an industry. How did you determine through your research, like which way you wanted to go? And how did you plan for that, right? Like if I said I want to be a pen tester, that for as an example of how that goes. What made you choose what you wanted to do, and then pursue the path in which you selected to get there?
Yeah. So in my initial internship, okay, so I was working on this web pen testing, and it was a really a great thing for me. I was really interested at how websites will work. Finally, I can see, how that e-commerce buy button will work, and it was a really a game changer. Uh, Learning those in my internships through online courses or from books, it was really a great thing for me. So I pursued this career because it really interested it really piqued my interest. The web pen testing is a very large domain. There is multiple things that you can do. That is the one point, because in cybersecurity, in web pen testing, I got a chance to do multiple things at the same time. So that was one thing that I really enjoy doing. That is the key reason that I went towards web pen testing. And the major reason is the great opportunity in initial career when you are just an entry level graduate. The major roles demand you to be proficient, not but maybe have some intermediate level of knowledge in web pen testing, and that's a very critical factor deciding that whether you are getting that job or internship or any new opportunity.
Lost my mouse there to find out where I was going. Yeah, that's great. That's great advice. Have you found any great online resources that you've turned to? Maybe not for the training and education. I know you kind of referenced the book piece, but in terms of just finding types of jobs, types of careers, kind of a go-to resource that helps you, make that decision, build out what I'm envisioning is a training plan that you kind of set some goals and
Yeah.
stuff around yourself. Where did you go for yourself to find that information, to make that decision to then create the plan?
Yeah. So there are multiple tools, multiple resources online, and it's a really great question that what you would prefer to, okay, what you want to choose. See, basically, I will suggest on my personal level, everyone can deny with it, but try Hack Me and Hack Splitting. These are the two websites that has really great resources. Plus, it's a budget friendly. That's a very key reason because you are in college and you are always short on your money. Yeah, if you know what I am saying. So uh, it's a great way. The resources are great. It's a budget friendly, and you can learn multiple things. There are many pathways. Like if you want to do blue teaming, there is a particular pathway in TryHack where you can learn from there. Hack is playing on the other end. It's a free website where you can learn about web pen testing. And it's a great, I suggest everyone to just go there because in a quick few exercise way, you can learn about it. And it's a great way to start initial introduction into the cybersecurity domain. But for as far as TryHack is concerned, these pathways are really inclusive. They are very detailed. You can get your hands on it. You can learn multiple things. There are particular pathways related to red teaming, blue teaming, SOC analyst, vulnerability assessor. So this is a very great thing. But with the little amount, I believe it can be purchased, and it's a really great. What I say, a great starting point when you are starting your career. These two are the perfect things from where you can initially start your journey into cybersecurity after you have finished your learning from the books and online tutorials. This is the practice ground for you.
Absolutely. And so as you went through all those steps, right, and you successfully navigated to find your first job, you're several months into it now. What has there been anything provided by your employer to continue that learning, or have you kind of still continued your own self journey here, to grow those skills to advance? How has that kind of transition into the role started to go for you?
Yeah. So this role is based in Dubai. So first of all, you get first of all what I'm getting is an international exposure. Okay. Plus, my employers has a great consulting team of cybersecurity professionals. Okay. They have on-house training where we do live pen testing on the client sub-client projects, which is used particularly for us trainees, and they have one this you call important thing called rotations. So in 6 months, I have went to Norway for my initial rotation, where I worked with the clients on the projects based on cybersecurity in Norway. Uh, so that is the one of the great things that this company gives you chance, a rotational chance to go to different countries, interact with clients, learn from their perspective, and provide a collaborative approach into cybersecurity industry. So this is the one of the key things that I consider is the best that these employers are giving me the chance to to go to different country, experience the skill sets that different people pursue, how they pursue cybersecurity in that particular domain. What is the issue particularly located to that certain region. So that is one of the greatest thing about my employers here in Dubai.
Does your organization have dollars available, training programs and certifications? I know you alluded to a little bit earlier on the idea of what I picked up you saying is certifications are great, but those in your mind are really geared towards I get a job and then I go get the cert after I get the job, right? Like I
Yeah,
want to get the skills, right? And we talk a lot about transferable skills or skills based
yeah,
hiring. So your focus was let's get I want to be able to do the things and then to get the job. And then I will show through measurement of a certification that I got those skills to that. So, which I think is a really interesting approach and probably contributed to that what you alluded to earlier, the idea of being a broke college kid, right? So you gotta pick and
yeah,
choose your battles, what you can and can't do, and it's always better to have somebody else pay for something, right? Like it's free certification from an employer to pay is going to be way better than me paying out of my pocket for a boot camp or something to go through it. So
yeah.
that was a long roundabout way to ask the question: has your current employer that you're working with now, do they have internal programs that are designed to facilitate that for you and really help kind of grow you within their organization?
Yeah, they have programs. They have multiple programs where if you want to pursue some certification, like I will start with very basic one like CEH. Okay, if you want to pursue it, they give you assistance, whether it's monetary or whether it's in terms of training. So they have their this particular pathway where if you want to offer a studies segment, you can offer that into employ with this employees, and they will give you initial training into the cybersecurity for that particular whatever that certification is. And why I was saying this because first get a job and then do the certification. Certifications are important. I am not saying that it's really important, and I totally agree with it. But for people consider the regions where this certification costs are really very high. People can't afford it to pursue that in their college days. So learning through learning through online materials that are readily and easily accessible, you can cover up some basic basis to get an entry level job into cybersecurity. Always it's good to do plus thing will elevate your profile. It will in terms of money, in terms of position as well. But to get an initial break, a basic understanding of cybersecurity, love and interest for this industry is necessary. And after you get there, because I mentioned that this certification cost you a lot. So once you get into job, you have an financial stability. You can then pursue it. That's what I am also doing. So that's how I approach certifications here.
That's a really great approach. I like the idea of again, other people's money is always great, and having an employer that does support that. And I think the important part around there's been a lot of studies and I think a lot of conversations around the reward of companies building out internal training programs and things like that, and opportunities for their team to grow and learn their skill sets. Right. I think there's the quote of what happens if we don't train our employees, or if we train our employees and they leave us. There's always that mindset
Yeah,
of what if we don't train them, what do we have to stand for? So that professional development is always such an important part. Now, what I've also picked up is you're gonna go figure it out in some way or another, because you seem to be pretty determined to achieve those goals and to find that thing and your level of success. So as you look ahead, right? So we've kind of talked a little bit about how you got to where you're at. What as you look ahead to the next 5, 6, 10, 20 years of your career, right? There's a lot of opportunities here. What
yeah,
do you kind of have in your mind of like, what's my next step? I want to do this thing to work through that. What does that look like for you?
sure. See, I have just been 6 months into this job. I am learning. I'm continuously learning from my employers, from online resources, and I am eyeing up to be, a proficient, what we call a cybersecurity expert. Hacker is a cliche movie word, but a cybersecurity expert, which can where I can individually guide people uh, to pursue to cybersecurity posture, that I can tell people, younger ones, that you can do this. This is the right way. That's the path that I am eyeing in next 5 to 10 years, and that's all about learning multiple things that is in current domain. experiencing with multiple people, interacting with people just like you, and understanding the perspective, how they operate into the cybersecurity industry. That's the point that I'm really looking to gain in my next 5 to 10 years of journey. And I want to be a cybersecurity expert, which really helps the society to be more cyber secure. So that's my vision, and I'm continuously working over there.
Do you think you see yourself as a chief information security officer? Do you think you go like there's really a couple paths, right? You go down a leadership, people leader kind of role. You've got your strategy roles you could do, and then you've got a lot of folks that just like that hacker aspect of it, right? Of the pen testing and
Yeah.
being very technical individual contributors, right? Where do you kind of see yourself in that kind of pecking order? Yeah, we'll start with that question. Where do you see yourself amongst those kind of opportunities to be?
Yeah, I believe I'm very proficient in making strategies because in my internships experience, I have to directly collaborate with leaders where I have to devise plans, architecture, how we are mapping this cybersecurity to particular role. So I believe the strategy role within the cybersecurity is niche to me because it's I have some initial experience with it, and I believe I can do fundamentally good there. But apart from that, I also, just I want to work as a freelance consultant where I can, where I can work with people, like-minded people. I can help younger ones that, yeah, this is not the right path. Yeah, you can just divert little bit from here and you will be on the right track. I can tell people how to pursue, how to get a break into cybersecurity because when I was starting, it was a real burden for me because India is a growing country. It's developing at fast pace, and cybersecurity is, what I say, at a much higher demand. But the training, the learning opportunities are low here. That's the gap that we are going to bridge in next, what I say, 10 to 15 years. Yes, that's the particular I have seen from my college. That demand is high here in India for cybersecurity professionals, uh, but the learning opportunity is limited. The scope to learn from the colleges or from the teachers are low, and you have to do multiple things on your own. So I believe that apart from working as a strategist, where I am devising plan architectures for the cybersecurity framework for the organization, I also like to devote my some time to helping society, where I can help people which are in need to break their career into cybersecurity.
That's really good perspective. What do you think you kind of have in your mind, right? Like, so you made a great plan to get your education up front and the job. What's going to be your angle of attack and approach for the next chapter, right? What do you think you're going to do in your plan? Because I'm guessing you've already thought about it because you kind of have a pretty strong sense of what you want to do. What steps are you going to take, or classes or learning opportunities you're going to take to get to that proficiency for a strategy consultant and a very technical person? What do you plan on? What's your angle and plan of attack to do that?
Yeah, so let's see, as I have mentioned that this cybersecurity pathway that anyone is pursuing is a very vast. You have to learn multiple things. So what I am pursuing is I am currently learning from my employers. They have a particular training team where they are teaching us how you can do this work in cybersecurity, which I don't know. Suppose like XYZ. So I am learning. Initially, I have planned to gain initial experience with my company, working on multiple rotations, working with multiple clients located all around the world. It will make my portfolio diverse, and then I can jump from this position to some higher level position like a mid senior role, where I get a chance to lead some team, where I get a chance to navigate 2 to 3 people. And from there, my next step will be from that mid senior level after working there for 5 years, because in the leadership, in top leadership role in cybersecurity, you must have an what I call a great amount of experience. That's very necessary. You must know about the cybersecurity trends. the multiple diverse portfolio that this industry carries. And that this is the particular pathway that I'm going to do. I initially I'm learning multiple things, and that's the basic foundation for anything. So once you get into a job, you think that now we can respect. Cybersecurity is highly demanding, but it's easy. It's not scary. It's vast, but it is easy. So you can jump start your career. Anyone can start here, and with the true genuine interest for cybersecurity, they can go anywhere. There is no limits here.
You alluded a couple times to the idea of a portfolio, and I know, like, for many of our candidates, that's a really hard thing to do, right? Is to show your work, right? I can go to CT Capture the Flag events, I can do Try Hack Me, but it's
Yeah.
still hard. I can show maybe certificates of completion, but it really is hard to build that portfolio. Where have you kept that portfolio, and how have you kind of built that out to share with others? What does that look like for you?
Yeah, no, definitely portfolio is necessary. You can what I have done is see, apart from internships, I regularly visit to government ideathons. So I have presented ideas on cybersecurity with the Narcotics Control Bureau on dark web. It is an narcotics department of Indian government here. So I have presented idea there. I have also worked with ISRO for GeoWeb and geocomputation area in their cybersecurity domain. So the thing is, in this cybersecurity domain, you can't be shy. If you want something, you have to be open. You have to show people that I can do it. Yeah, you can ask people for help on LinkedIn. You have to go if you get to know about that this particular person is working with this department. Go ask him. Be open with him. Ask him that I can do this work. Show them that I am really confident. I have this work experience and give me a chance. You can ask for you don't know whenever that person clicks and remembers you, yeah, this is the person, let's call him, let's give him a call. And it has worked for many people. So I see that there are many people who are genuinely interested that they have seen like how the early graduates are getting break into cybersecurity. They once passed through that phase, so they are really eager to help. And all the people that I have been through LinkedIn, through online CTF events or any places, they are really helpful. You just have to be open. You just have to ask them, like, give me a chance. That's what I want to say here.
So, I mean, and you just alluded to it, right? You and I connected on LinkedIn earlier this year. I think there was a connection with the work that we do at Cyber Up and some lesson learned. So, it's probably come full circle. You've been there about 6 months. You're at the 6 months. So I hope we contributed a little bit to your success in finding your job and through listening to some of our shows. So, or just keeping up with our content. And I also just noticed, like, you've got a great little blog you put out on Medium with some content there of just sharing your own experiences, which is great, right? I think you're embodying the idea of, I think, what draws me to this industry, which is the camaraderie and the common goal of trying to protect people and networks. And I think acknowledging that the work that we do really is important, right? Like, at the end of the day,
Yeah.
this is national security, corporate security, individual security. There's a lot of layers to this, and like when things go bad, there's a lot of risk and opportunities here. So it is. I think in the hullabaloo of the jobs gap and the trading things and all of this stuff, we have a tendency, I think, to forget the underlying kind of the root of all of this stuff, which is,
Yeah.
like, you really need to be better at protecting stuff, right? And it's easy when you get caught up in selling things and recruiting people and all the day-to-day stuff to, like, really take a step back and think, man, this is important stuff, and people's lives or livelihoods or companies' lives and livelihoods are really at risk here. So how do we find ways to do that? As always, 30 minutes goes really, really fast, and we've already kind of come to the tail end of our time. But man, the conversation was great, and I mean, kudos to you, right? Like, what I've taken away is, you took time, you set a career individual plan that you wanted to follow. You tracked that, you hit your goals, and the combo of the Try Hack Me's and the CTFs and some kind of certification learning that resulted in you proactively reaching out to people, finding a job, man. So like you represent a poster child, if you will, for others to follow and emulate what you've done. So nice work on that. And a great segue to the last question. What advice would you give to everybody listening for them to level up their own cybersecurity careers?
I don't want to be sound philosophical, but what genuine advice I can give is while selecting for opportunity, okay, when you are applying on LinkedIn or any places, search for companies which are not predominantly, based on IT, like construction, beverages, or company which is their fundamental operations are not in the IT domain. Now, what happens? You get a more less competition there and more chances for getting selected. That's the key point that I have also applied. I got this job, and this company is predominantly into construction, but it has a great portfolio. So you can apply for the companies if you want an entry-level job in cybersecurity. Target the companies which are not their fundamental operations are not based into ID industry. You can target the company which is related to construction, logistics, or what I say, like the food or beverages industry or luxury brands. It's really great. The competitions are there less, and you have much more chance to get selected there.
Yeah, that's a great answer, and I echo that often to people to think outside the box and to just gravitate towards all the companies that and in 2024, all companies are IT companies anymore, right? Like there's nobody's operating off of paper and pen to operate their business. Somebody's using some form of QuickBooks, some form of email, some form of technology to drive their day to day. And if I have a computer and if I'm connected to the internet, I need somebody on my team to make sure that I'm doing what I need to do to protect those things. So really, really good advice to look outside the box of the normal large companies. And I know you alluded as we were getting ready to it earlier, those kind of leadership tracks and those types of programs, alternative programs that run you through a couple cycles. We have a little bit of time. You can elaborate on that idea as well if you'd like to.
Yeah, sure. The many companies like big companies like Airbus, Nestle. Nestle is a food and beverages brand, and everyone knows about Nestle, Unilever, or Procter and Gamble. They have a particular set of job role that is called graduate programs. That is specifically targeted for young professionals having 0 to 3 years of experience. Okay, so this is a really great pathway. They teach you about, suppose if you are applying for cybersecurity graduate role, what they do, there is 2 years of study and work experience program. They will pay you. They will pay you good, and that's the key here. They pay you good. They take care of your accommodation if you are from different country. They take care of your visa as well. Okay, so this is a perfect pathway where anyone I will say can start their career into and there are multiple pathways, not just limited to cybersecurity. If you are for software engineer, you can also apply. If you are from data analytics, you can also apply. And if you are from operations or HR or management, you can also apply.
Yeah, I think the one piece to add to it is the advice that you've had in the very first section of this around all the things you've done will set you apart in the interview process for those opportunities, right? So like the going to college, getting the piece of paper is not enough. And I hope the takeaway from everybody here that's listening is that you did way more than that than just go to school and have the expectation. You're going to constantly be learning and growing and learning new skills and finding opportunities. And that's going to set you apart for those roles for now or into the future. So, I mean, continue to plug away and continue to learn and grow and build your skill set. So really strong and wise advice. I am so glad we had an opportunity to catch up today. I mean, it was a great conversation. I think it's going to resonate with quite a few people of just, your experiences kind of navigating this on your own. So congratulations on that. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope, welcome to have you back again, but appreciate everybody tuning in. And until next week, everybody have a fantastic week. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.